Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Bergeretta. I'm the Senior Sales Manager at the Oral Health Group. On behalf of the Oral Health Group, I am pleased tonight to present you a webinar put on by Cheryl Kanhai, President of Maxim Software Systems. Cheryl quickly rose through the ranks at Maxim, going from sales rep to sales manager to general manager and sales manager before taking the reins of the company in 2011. Over the past 15 years, she has advised over 1,000 dentists in implementing dental software systems to improve office efficiencies, increase productivity, and boost income. Her dedication to Maxim and its clients led Cheryl to provide new products and services to further enhance dental offices. She remains close to the MaxiDent family of users and plays a key role in driving the company forward, constantly striving to keep MaxiDent moving into the future. Cheryl is hosting this webinar to answer the many questions on economics and finances posed to her daily from dentists. The gamut is wide, from dentists just starting out, mid-career dentists, and dentists looking to transition, each bringing their own unique issues, which Cheryl will address. The webinar will feature a live Q&A at the end, so please do not hesitate to submit questions throughout the presentation using the GoToWebinar software. Thank you for attending, and I would now like to pass the presentation over to Cheryl Kanhai. Thank you and enjoy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending this Thursday evening. Tony, thanks for the introduction. What I will do is I will try to keep this webinar short, but more importantly, I certainly hope you guys get a eureka moment and I give you something and I teach you something to definitely think about. I will tell you right from the start, this is not a sales pitch. This is not, I'm not going to demo the MaxiDent software or anything like that, not in this particular webinar, but I want you to actually learn from this webinar and take the weekend to think about what you've learned, and hopefully we can have a really good conversation sometime soon. So I'll get right into it. So right away, is there really an easy, low-cost way to achieve a high-income practice? I mean, that's the title of this webinar. And I have been asked by many dentists for many years about certain economic problems that they have or challenges that the practice has and how to overcome them. So all the way from, and I go way back. So I've worked for Maxim for like 16, 17 years. So I'm talking about days of paper. So I'm going way back that far. And today, the world is going in the paperless direction, not necessarily completely paperless because there's no such thing, but basically going from a practice management software program to digitizing digital x-rays and using cameras and getting that all electronic and then eventually going paperless. So there is a wide gamut, like Tony had said, so there's going to be information here for all types of dentists, and hopefully everybody takes away a morsel of information that I really want them to think about. So this question here, the title is there really an easy, low-cost way to achieve high-income practice? Is for those that have an existing practice or about to get into a practice of their own. So those are the new, young, ambitious dentists. Ones that are transitioning out, there will be slides here specifically for you as well. So, and that's my next slide here, which is, are you or one of your colleagues going to buy or sell in the next 10 years? And there's a reason why 10 years is my magic number, because this is for mid-career dentists to those that are exiting. Ones that are in the process of exiting, meaning the practice is for sale right now. If you're here in the audience today, probably what I'm going to teach you is a little too late, but if you're mid-career and going to transition over the next little while, then I think it's absolutely key that you take some of these morsels of information that I'm going to teach you today. So again, this webinar targets dentists buying practices, those are the young ones, existing mid-career dentists, and dentists toward the end of their career and looking to sell in the next 10 years. Those that are already selling, like I said, this is probably a little too late for you. But there's practice characteristics. Dental offices with paper charts, offices with traditional practice management software, and I sort of touch upon what does traditional mean, and dentists who want to do better than the previous year. So I want you to keep your financial statements and what those numbers were for the last year, last 2, last 3 years in mind. Today's environmental factors. these are the questions that dentists are posing to me today. Some of these factors are costs are increasing and incomes are decreasing. Not necessarily incomes are decreasing. Incomes are staying at the same level, but your buying power is decreasing. Of course, technology is costly, which is absolutely true. And my last question is, when can a dentist ever get ahead? So things like rent, utilities, salaries, sundries, taxes, real estate, food, everything in life is going up. Life is getting expensive. Technology, when I'm talking about technology, I'm talking about digital x-ray sensors, cameras, my goodness, even your website, if you have one. Believe it or not, some dentists don't have a website. The upkeep of the website, here's another feature or function that patients are actually driving, is an automated appointment confirmation system or other patient communication that's automated. And I'll give you an example. Many of my offices are saying that their patients are asking for text or email. Here's the real reason, because the receptionist in the morning is calling the patient to confirm their appointment tomorrow or in 2 days, whatever your cycle is, and that patient's out to work and they get a message at home on their voicemail at the end of the day, usually after the dental office is closed, so they can't even call back to confirm. So I call that playing phone tag, because you're back and forth, and the patient's saying, look, can you just send me an email or can you send me a text? Because everybody's got a smartphone, so they get it. So when you're talking about technology and trying to automate things, yes, they're absolutely great, but they're very expensive. And then the other thing that I want to address here is you became a dentist here for a reason. Never mind these environmental factors. You had a personal goal that you had in mind. So here's something that's interesting too. Story that I can tell you is that I have over the years asked dentists, why dentistry? Especially the ones that are graduating just out of school. I'm like, why did you pick dentistry? Why don't you become a lawyer or an accountant or something else? And here are the general answers. And this might be amusing to some. A lot of the reasons was they wanted to be their own boss. Great. They wanted to work their own hours. Great. They wanted to have their own practice, i.e. small business. Great. Almost all of them said high income earning potential. Others said make a difference in patients' lives, which is absolutely true. And here's something that will make you guys laugh, is one dentist told me that he had a tooth fetish. I definitely wasn't expecting that, but he definitely stuck in my head. So, but now that we've established that you need to and want to increase the practice of income and reflected upon the reasons you became a dentist, now let's get into the actual pulp of this webinar. So I'm just going to touch upon some facts. Every dental office has 99% of them have software. Dental software has been around 35 years. If you think about it, all software systems, I call it, it's operational. You send your claims electronically. You've got a scheduler. You have bill. You print receipts. You might print statements if you need to, but it's operational. It's something that your front desk uses to keep the front area reception operating. More and more offices are digitizing, which is growing. But this is one key thing that I want everybody to understand. Just because you have digital x-rays does not directly increase your production. It will save time, save money, and allow you to work faster. So it'll increase how much work you can put through. But basically, in so many words, it will widen your margins. But more patients aren't going to book appointments with you because you went digital. That's a key distinction. A lot of sales reps that sell digital equipment go and make all these promises that it's going to improve your bottom line, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It really directly won't, but it will increase your margins. That's for sure. And same thing for paperless. I always say it's not the end-all, be-all. It's absolutely great, believe me. But it's the same business principle as digitizing x-rays. So going paperless will save time, it'll save money, it'll allow you to automate, which is awesome, and work faster, which again is awesome. It'll reduce redundancies, it'll reduce errors, absolutely true, but again, it will widen your margins. More patients aren't going to book appointments with you because you went paperless. That's one thing that is absolutely critical. And I wrote here a critical slide because this is important. So 93% of dental offices have a wall of charts. It might be 92%, 93, 92, in about there. So that means in this wall of charts, you have, think about what's in there. You have your paper charts, you have patients that require treatment, their treatment plans, and their recall information, anything like that, and all that information is handwritten inside of them and typically filed away. So this information is languishing because once it's filed away, I call it a never land. It's getting older, it gets outdated, it expires. The patients are not, or the patients are going elsewhere to get the treatment, adding to your attrition. So this information is what I'm talking about. That's the gold. That's what I talk about gold, because it's required treatment that's being recorded by hand in the paper chart and filed away. Now, the reason why this is a critical slide is because I'm going to get you to sit back and relax and think about your dental practice. So every day, if you've been working, every day for the last 5, 10, 15 years, you will walk by your wall of charts every day. Your receptionist probably sits in front of them. If you think about it, most of the dental offices out there have them right behind the receptionist, right off to the side, not very far. Every day, your staff pulls charts and they refile daily. I mean, that's the operation of the wall of charts. So I would bet that none of you, or not many of you, have thought about what's in that wall of charts. And I want you to take a moment to think about it now, which is absolutely key. In your wall of charts, how many patients need or have fallen behind in their recall? You probably don't even know where to start to look to get that information, right? In your wall of charts, how many patients need an appointment to see you to get something restorative done, but they couldn't book an appointment before they left the practice at their last appointment? But I bet you their chart was refiled. And this one's a biggie. This one here is a biggie. How many patients have you sent, or has your staff sent a pre-authorization for, and no one's followed up on that? If you think about it, today the phenomenon is this. The insurance companies are communicating with their client, your patient. They are not communicating back to your dental office. So those that are big treatments, those treatments that need pre-authorization are big treatment, like crowns and bridges, for example. You actually have no recourse. Now, if you have digital x-rays, you send your x-rays now printed on on paper or on photo paper. And once that pre-authorization is adjudicated one way or another, that gets shredded. The insurance company, they don't send that back to you. If you have film, they will mail it back to you, and that typically is a trigger, hopefully, for your staff to say, aha, this patient probably has some communication from the insurance company. But if you're digital, good luck. You got nothing. So here is, this is a critical point. And here I need you to listen well to understand the distinguishment. If you are an existing dentist with your own practice, to increase your income, you need to learn how to mine this gold. At this wall of charts is a treasure chest. If you are a dentist thinking about selling, you need to account for this gold before you sell, so you get more money for your practice. Absolutely critical. If you are a young, new, ambitious dentist, you need to put income systems in place right from the start, to start using software and software technology to be able to categorize this and organize this in nice reports. And I'm going to explain a management principle that I think all dentists need to understand and understand well. And it's a new way of managing practices. This is critical. This is something, I call it management by data. I'm not somebody that coined management by data. It's been around forever. For businesses, have been using it forever. Database marketers, they look at data, they analyze it, and they know exactly what they need to do for their business directly. Well, this is the same. I'm using the words management by data in dentistry, because right now you've got a database full of thousands and thousands of patients, and no one is actually examining your data and interpreting that. And that's one of the key things that I need dentists now to understand. It's no longer guesswork of how to fill this chair. Where do you look? Where do you fill this appointment? You need to increase your profitability or production for this month. Where do you look? None of that stuff. All management by data is is act on fact. Data is real. And it's based on your practice, on your patients, and all of that information is handwritten. But if you put it all in a computer system, it can be massaged out, this is what we call it, and printed on nice, organized, interpretable reports that can tell you, look, how many patients have a treatment plan? How many active patients don't have a recall? How many active patients have a pre-authorization sent out and you haven't heard back from them? These are actionable reports that you can get using this management by data management principle that I'm trying to get across to all dentists. There's no longer guesswork. You act on fact. There's nothing more to it than that. And if you have thousands of active charts, just multiply all of this information times the amount of active charts you have. But what's most important is that when you have this information as data, you can attach a dollar figure to it. So how much do you think all of this equates to? Now, I've got some real data here, which is my next slide. And I want you to note that this is just the treatment plan side. This isn't pre-authorizations that have been sent out. This isn't the recalls. This is just how much, like this, the first one here, 18,000 active patients. They had $3 million in treatment plans alone. But that's a large office. So let's take something that's more reasonable. Like an office with 4,500 patients have $300,000 in treatment plans. Another one with 1,000 patients, active patients, they're all active, about $300,000 in treatment plans. One with 8,000 patients, $700,000 in treatment plans alone. Like, that is crazy. So I'm not talking $70,000 or $100,000. I'm talking about lots and lots. And that is why if you're selling your practice, there's this kind of money sitting in your treasure chest right now. That's why I'm saying you guys need to understand the management by data principle, and the software program that you're currently using in your office. Again, 99% of you guys have a software program. They haven't realized this yet. This is absolutely critical that just for what it's worth, right now you have this data sitting in your database today, right now. But your vendor hasn't created any of the systems for you to go ahead and mine this data, which is absolutely key. So a promise I made you from the start, and the title of this webinar is there an easy, low-cost way to achieve a high-income practice? Is it easy? Is it low cost? And is there potential for high income? I've basically broken that question into 3 little sections. So for dentists with existing offices that's going to practice for a while, you need to find ways to earn this income now. Is it easy? Now that you know it's there, obviously, yes. Is it low cost? Compared to what it's costing you to keep the status quo in the same old, if you remember this slide here, you can't afford not to do something about it because it's costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally. Is there potential for high income? Again, I want you to think about your financial statements for the past 1, 2, or 3 years. It is the best that you're going to get using the software system that you currently have. Remember, your software is a tool that you use in the practice, much like one of the instruments that you use to do dentistry. Software is a tool. It is the best that you're going to get. What you're going to get with us is how to mine your gold mine. And, of course, not for you to do, for your staff to do. Very, very key that it's critical that you understand that. Okay. So if you're selling your practice with a wallet chart, there's gold buried in it. And stop until you learn how to account for this missed income. My advice is don't give away this treasure chest for free if you're selling your practice. It's absolutely critical. Or thinking about selling your practice. If you're buying an office that has a wallet chart, my advice to you is buy it as soon as you can and find the missed gold from the previous owner, because obviously there's things in there that they have not accounted for during the sale of the practice. That's for sure. And if you are going to practice for some time yet and looking to improve the practice and make it a high-income practice, there are changes you need to make. The same old is going to get you the same old results. So let's look at ways to how you can increase your income. Well, you can hire a person to do a continual chart, a manual continual chart audit. Keyword, manual continual chart audit. This person needs to understand dentistry. They need to be able to read your notes. This has got to be a full-time job because every day someone is pulling and refiling charts in the practice. This is an added full-time dental admin salary to your expenses. Once this person finds a chart, they must know exactly what action is required, and they must know what actions they need to take. That's key. Another option for you is to have a staff meeting and use existing staff to do this over and above their current jobs. But you guys know how busy you guys are already. I don't know how you can find time during the day to have your staff do this as well, and they probably won't be too happy about it. You will see that they will end up doing an inadequate job because they got the current jobs that they got to worry about and focus on. So again, if they do an inadequate job, the results you're going to get is also inadequate. Last but not least, you can do nothing. You can leave everything as is, and I just wrote something in there that's kind of smart. You might win the lottery one day because if you leave everything as a status quo, you leave it as a status quo. So is there a low-cost way? Okay, so in reality, if you hire a person, I figured it'll cost you about $30,000 to $40,000 per year, depending on where you are in the country. So, but if you think about it, reasonably speaking, if they find $300,000 in potential income that was missed, they're worth it. Honestly, they find 300 grand and you pay them 30 to 40, that's not bad at all. The trouble is, you know as well as I know, is that the staff never stay. So you're going to have another key income position to manage. And again, you're busy enough. Like you need that extra worry, right? So you can also change your practice management software system to Maxident. You have grown. Here's why. You've grown with your system. Over the years, you've grown. It's at its max. There's nothing more it can do to offer you. That it can do for you. It might give you digital x-ray integration. It might even give you paperless. But again, we're going back to digital x-ray paperless. It's going to widen your margin. It's not going to directly impact and influence your income. So that's one of the key things that you need to know. If you remember, if you take a minute to just remember and reflect upon your financial statements for the last few years, it's the best it's going to be with your existing practice management system, plain and simple. So I think it's the responsibility of us software vendors, that's what we've done for our existing clients, to build in these income systems into the practice management software so our dentists can increase their income and augment their income. So it's absolutely cool and clear that these vendors have to advise and lead their clients not only in income systems but in technologies that's going to be able to do that as well. I mean, that's the whole point of being in the software business. So I can't leave you without a solution. Again, I'm not going to show you, I'm going to talk about Maxident, but I'm not going to show you software screens. I'm not going to do a demo. I'm not going to bore you guys like that. So you need to understand these principles and the distinctions. So I'm going to just take a few minutes and a few slides just to go through this quickly. So here's the first slide, by the way. So I'm just going to go through a quick Maxident introduction. It's a state-of-the-art software program. It's smart. It's designed to be that way. It's designed to make income. So it does the operational things. Yes, it does your billing and your claims and your scheduler and your recalls and all that other stuff. Like all the stuff that you're used to using and accustomed to using, of course, Maxident has to have it. But it also has specifically productivity systems built in and systems to build to increase income. And I'm going to talk about them in the next few slides. So there's only 3 income systems in the practice that you need to focus on. And the key thing is that as a dentist, all you got to do is monitor and look at the results. You don't need to do the work. You just look at the results. And if your staff know that you're looking and reading these reports, they're going to obviously take it very seriously. It's me being a business owner, a lot of it is the psychology of this. If the staff thinks you're checking up on them, they're going to be above board. They're not going to try and pull anything fancy or schmancy or sneaky because they don't want to risk getting caught, of course. So But you need to know that there's reports there that you can use in order to monitor. So these are the principles. Again, there's only 3 income systems, and it's going to make a world of difference. What Maxim does is it connects the dots. Key thing for your staff to do something about it. You're just looking at the results. It's key for you to understand that. So there are the 3 income systems that we're talking about. Is, just a minute, treatment plans. So I have a system that I've coined. It's trademarked. It's called Never Lose a Treatment Plan System. One of the only things that you will find that's trademarked, and you won't find in any other systems. This is for you, the restorative department. Key things here is it captures treatment plans or your electronic charts. Now, Maxim doesn't force you to go paperless. So if you're not there at that stage yet, that's fine. They'll still give you the same benefits. If you want to use electronic charting, great. If you don't need to. But it still has a Never Lose a Treatment Plan system inside of it. And here's something that I've coined that I will take credit for, is the industry's first aged treatment plan report. Now here's the logic behind it. Every practice management system in every practice has an aged account receivable report. And that basically ages the amount of money that people owe you for work that you've done. So this aged treatment plan report basically ages the work that you need to do. So you've got current, which is current month. You've got something within 60 days, within 90 days. So you can see how old this treatment plan is. And if you're reading this report, you can see that, okay, there's 60 patients that have a treatment plan that are over 3 months old. Why is that? Why don't they have an appointment, and why wasn't this stuff done? Right now, you've got nothing. You've got absolutely nothing. So that's the key thing, is let the system tell you the patients that have a treatment or treatment plan in file but don't have a scheduled appointment. Because if you did, they wouldn't be on this aged treatment plan report. So the results you can expect to receive from this particular section here is it's a thorough system for treatment plans that will ensure patient optimal health while increasing your income, because the patient's going to get the treatment that they need. Plain and simple. Patient recalls and retention. So I've got something called Maxim's Never Lose a Patient Recall and Appointment System. Again, it's trademarked. So this is for the hygiene department. So every practice management system has a recall system. What makes Maxim different? The key distinction is that it tracks patients that have fallen through the cracks and don't have a recall. And it also tracks patients that have a recall but no appointment. So again, you can do, it's got patients obviously that have a recall and appointment, and that's, you don't need to track those because obviously those people are already in rotation. So it's all the people that don't have a recall or a recall date on file. The results of that, of course, you can keep your chart full, keep patient retention up, keep patient attrition down, and recall income keeps flowing in. Last but not least, this part's my favorite, insurance approvals. Okay, so Maxim has something called Never Lose an Insurance Approval System. Cute, isn't it? But it's very important. Why? It's going to make sure that you get paid for the treatment you're about to do. You get the A-OK from the insurance company. The patient's not miffed that they've got a balance or some surprise, which of course you don't want to create. And it coordinates, what's really cool about this is it coordinates insurance policy reset dates with treatment plans so you can help maximize production. So in short, what does that mean? Patients' policies that are going to reset themselves, and you pick the number, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. You can enter that into the system, and it's going to generate a list of all the patients who, by insurance policy, is going to reset in 2 months or 3 months, whatever the number is, and it's going to give you a list of the patients that don't have a treatment plan and no appointment. Like, how smart is that? Obviously, your staff needs to do something about that, right? So the result of your patients, higher income, and your staff have recourse. Because right now they have nothing. It's absolutely critical. So in so many words, Maxim, we call this a Never Lose series. So this is what I mean by you've got a wall of charts, it's a treasure chest, how do you mine this gold? Because you can hire a human being to mine your gold for you continually, or you can have systems that are automated that's going to get you the information that you need. And the training for your staff to take the action that's required. Okay, so that's the key thing. So what does this all mean? So for practicing dentists, Maxidents Never Lose the series will identify your gold mine and increase your income. Simple. Nice little statement. Dentists who are selling practices, this is huge. Maxidents Never Lose the series will account for the income buried in your charts before you sell to get a higher practice price. You're basically accounting for income opportunities that the buyer should target first. Really very simple. And dentists who are buying practices, Maxidents Never Lose series will organize income opportunities. So you have that you've recently acquired when you bought this practice, new practice, right from day one. And we call that, you've got all the tools there to create a high income practice. And of course, it's going to give you that information, management by data. It's going to give you that information, so it's really easy. It makes it way easier to manage staff based on the data in your database, and your staff will buy in board because the reports, they're clear. It's really very clear. So to recap, what it takes basically is an electronic data conversion from your system currently to Maxident, and I put the word optional in there because I know your data is valuable, and it is, but a lot of practices have been using their system for the last, 5, 10, 15, actually probably 10, 20 years or longer. So a lot of that a lot of that data is dirty. So I call it dirty data, only because you've got inactive patients there that that were at one time active, but they're no longer active and they're still marked as active. So that's what I meant by you might want something that's basic so you can clean it up, because you need to have this information clean. If you're going to manage your practice by data, data has to be clean. Key thing here is another on-site operational training for your staff. So my trainers will go to your practice and they will train the staff, which is going to make your staff feel better that they've got some guidance and some training from the people that are going to make things happen for them and make their lives easier. And of course, your life easier as well. And of course, last but not least, is training for you and or your office manager if you have one, in order to read and interpret the reports. So I'm really getting to the end of this presentation because I just wanted to make sure that you guys got this eureka moment and understand where you have the power to increase your own income, literally, and you see it every day, and we're going to help you mine it. In so many words. We can do a free practice income evaluation so you can kind of gauge it. There's no obligation, because at the same breath, I own Maxim, and I'll tell you, if we can't give you the results, I don't want the headache. So, and I definitely don't want to waste your time and waste my staff's time. We've got to be able to provide you with your desired results. So, and we only limit this to a number of practices a year. We don't do this for everybody. Last but not least is a little quotation that I am going to give you a minute just to read. Key thing here is educated people understand change, and that's what makes you educated. So take a minute just to read it. It's from the book, The Power of Focus. I absolutely love the book because that's exactly what a lot of us need. So, and again, educated people understand change, and that's what makes them educated. My last slide here is my contact information if you want to write that down, or just go to the website, www.maxidentsoftware.com. Pretty straightforward. I think I'm going to open it up to Tony. I'm going to open it up to questions now, but that's more or less the end of my presentation.
Excellent. Thank you, Cheryl. We do have a few questions here. So I'll start off with the first one. I have an office and will work for another 7 to 10 years. What is the process to get into MaxiDent from my existing software system?
The process is for us to get a copy of the data, and we'll do a free sample electronic data conversion and review the results with you or the staff to ensure accuracy. Once that's good, it's just a matter of logistics, really. It's setting a date and picking a live date and organizing training and all of that kind of stuff. So we work to the timeline, but at the very start, it's the process for us to get a copy of the data and show you the results. And we can do a really good data conversion too, just for what it's worth. Like, again, we have programmers on staff that do that, and they have provided with some excellent results. And we can clean data too. So it's not only just extracting the data and putting it into MaxiDent, we can actually clean up data. So if you, over the years, you have somebody that used, shorthand for a province, or you've got like Ontario as ON, or then some of them have ONT, and things that we can clean all that stuff up and just make it right from the transition.
Okay, excellent. So the next question we have here is, so I see MaxiDent would benefit me. I see how it can benefit me, but I do have an issue with some of my staff maybe not taking to change very well. How do you think I can overcome this?
Well, you can't make improvements in your office without staff. That's the key thing. But having said that, you own the practice, and if you want to make improvements, you need to communicate it to the staff. And one of the things that I've learned is you have to get staff to buy in. And once they get an understanding of what you want to achieve and how you and them as a team is going to do that, they'll feel more comfortable. If they feel that they're part of something, people want to do things. It's like because they feel like they're part of it and they're making a difference. So they have to know that there's a plan, that they're part of it, they're taking part of it, and that they're going to also, you're not leaving this on their lap to deal with. They're going to get help from a trainer that's going to lead them through the process and help with the transition. You don't want them to think they're alone. This is just something else that you're just assigning to them to get done, and with very little guidance or direction. It's explaining to them and saying this is what we're going to do and why you're going to do it and how you're going to do it, and you're getting professional help for everybody. So and then usually everybody, like I said, buys in. They want to be able to be part of the exciting. It's no longer a fear of change. Now they want to be part of it. It's psychology.
Excellent. Okay. So the next question is regarding office staff as well. So basically, I have high staff turnover, and wondering how that's going to affect in terms of paying for training all the time. And it's a concern for me in terms of the high turnover.
Okay. Many dentists have the same challenge. As a result, we have different, can I say, packages available, for lack of a better term. We've got something called the New Employee Training Package, and it's a reduced rate for existing clients that have high turnover, and it depends, because I've had offices where the receptionist has taken the training and gone, gone after 2 weeks. It's kind of like, ugh. So we'll work with the dentist if that's the case. So we have a new employee training package at a reduced rate. We have continual online webinars, kind of like what you guys are doing, what we're doing now, but for training, of course. Some free, some paid. And the paid ones, again, are at a reduced rate. We have a client portal with training videos, which is free. It's available 24/7. So if you want to give somebody access to your portal, your MaxiDent portal, they can do that. So even you can look at videos and see how things are done. You can also pay a small monthly fee if you want and get unlimited training for your staff and yourself or your office manager or your spouse. So we have something where it's whether you're paying per every time, you can actually pay like a small training fee on monthly if you want, and you can get unlimited training. And if you have high turnover, it's probably honestly in your best interest to do it that way anyways. And it just, you have staff over twice a month or twice a year or whatever it might be, and however frequently you want to use it, you can go ahead and use it.
Okay, excellent.
That answers the question.
Okay, and the last question here we have is in regards to your support services. Do you offer them, and what are your support services?
We have, we've got quite a bit actually. We have, our support hours are typically Monday to Friday, 7 to 7 Central Standard, and Saturday for emergency support, no cost. That's all included. There's a toll-free number which is answered by a receptionist. Your call is logged and is prioritized. You can email us. The support coverage is comprehensive. So if your staff has a problem, we're typically the first line of defense because they just know something's not working. They just don't know what. They're not techs, right? Which is fine. So they can just give us a call. We will log in remotely and try and obviously diagnose and fix it if we can. If it's an accident problem, we'll fix it for you. But if it's something like that's hardware related, we'll tell you or tell them to bring their hardware, like call their hardware person and call us back. And if they're going to come in, say, tomorrow at 2 or tomorrow at 8 a.m. or whatever it is, let us know and we'll have one of our support techs work with your person on site to get the call resolved, because there's some things that you physically have to have your hands on that you can't do something from a remote. So that's exactly why. But that's typically how our techs work. One of the key things is part of your support is the state-of-the-art technology that I was talking about. Maxident has always reinvested into the technology that the software uses, and this is key. So if you're using an existing software program, you might get software updates, don't get me wrong, which is great, but you might not have any technology upgrades as part of that, or you have to buy it separately. So one of the things with Maxident is once you become a Maxident office, we actually partner with you. So I'll give you an example. We just upgraded technology for all of our customers. We didn't charge for anything. The upgrade itself was absolutely free. Now there was software enhancements that we recommended that somebody get training on, but not everybody took training. So, and that's just because the software, we added way more features and functionalities into the software program. But as for a technology upgrade, it was absolutely free with someone's support contract. So that's one of the key things is when you partner with us, it's up to us to lead them. So dentists aren't faced with expensive, painful technology decisions through their career. They just make this decision once, and we lead them through all of it. So they can focus on dentistry and technology that directly affects dentistry, just like digital x-rays. Like I can't tell you what's a good digital x-ray system. That's not my forte at all. But we can lead when it comes to practice management, integration, all of those other things I was talking about, going paperless, going from the front desk right through the office and getting computerized. Yeah, that's something that we can definitely do, and we'd be glad to do it and lead the way for sure.
Okay, and actually there's one more part to this question as well. So basically the question is now, in terms of the technical support, is it included in the software purchase? Is there another arrangement that has to be made post-purchasing the software?
There is. You buy the software and you buy a support contract, and that support contract is it's optional after the first year. That's another thing that makes us different. We're different than the other software programs, where it's not a license fee. So when you stop paying, you stop getting the updates, obviously the upgrades, the security, and all that other stuff. But some software companies, they charge per user, per computer. They charge for every update or fee guide, things like that. We don't charge any of that stuff. Some of them, when you stop paying, the software stops functioning, which I think is absolutely ludicrous, but that's my own opinion. Because you paid thousands of dollars up front, why is it not functioning anymore? So ours is not like that. I mean, we want you on the support because you value the support, and clearly your staff use it, and they don't bother you when you're in the operatory with the patient. So if there's a problem, they call us, like I said earlier. But we want people to be on it because they want it and they value it, not because they're forced to and their system's going to shut off. Like that's, I think, holding you over a barrel. But that's my own opinion, of course.
Okay, excellent. Well, Cheryl, thank you very much for putting on the webinar tonight. And I just want to let everybody know if they have any further questions, they can email Cheryl directly from the email that's on the screen right now. And also at the end of this, there is a brief survey. If you don't mind just filling that out and letting us know if you have any questions. Thank you very much, and that concludes the webinar.